about circles, and we've done this one before. We're talking about the length of an arc. So we had a formula that we used to find the length of the arc. How many degrees are in a circle? 360. And then it's asking for the measure of the arc. And then what's the circumference formula? Circumference is what? 2 pi r. Very good. And then the length of the arc is usually what we're trying to find, and that's our x. Okay, do you remember that formula? Okay, so let's work on number 1. We've done this part before. They're asking for the arc length, and basically just to remind you of what that is, that's like the crust of a pizza. So right here, if I want the area, the shaded sector, okay, this is a sector, but I just want the crust of the pizza. It's asking how long it is, not 70 degrees. Okay, like if I took a ruler and measured it, how long would it be? And so there's a formula that we can use, this one right here. So it's 2 pi r, 360, measure the arc, and this would be my x. So somebody tell me what's my radius? 5, right? Because if my diameter is 10, then my radius is going to be 5. And what's the measure of the arc that I want? The 70 degrees, right? And then from there, I'm just going to cross multiply. So that gives me 360x. And then somebody tell me what's 2 times pi times 5 times 70. 2199.1, right? Now what would I do next? 5. Very good. We're going to divide by 360. Excellent. Okay. All right. So if I divide that, what would I get? 6.1 what? Centimeters, right? 6.1 centimeters. Very good. That means that the crust of my pizza is 6.1 centimeters long. Okay? I would like for you to try number 2 and number 3 on your own. I'm going to give you just a minute to get that done. All right, so let's take a look at number 2. Okay, did you set up your formula and you put 360 down here? You put 2 pi r right here. Measure the arc and your x. How big is your radius? 2. And what's the measure of your arc? Remember, I want this one, don't I? So what would I do? How big is a full circle? Okay. Subtract what? The 110 and 60. 110 plus 60 is, so 360 minus the 170 leaves me with 190. So this is 190 right here. Okay, and then I'm going to cross multiply. So that would give me 360x. And then 2 pi 2 times 190 is 2387 divided by 360. And then I believe you get 6 point something, right? 6.6 what? Inches. Are we okay? Do you need another second for number 3? No, we're good? All right, so over here, same thing. We're going to use the same formula. We're going to put 360 here. This is going to be 2 pi r. Measure the arc, and this is my arc length. What's my radius on this one? 5. And what's the measure of my arc? Well, I know that this one is 60, but don't I also want this one over here? Why is this one 60? Because they're across from each other, which is called vertical. Very good. They're vertical angles, so they're the same. So really, I want both of them, so that would be 120. And then you cross multiply. So what's 120 times 2 pi 5? Or 2 pi 5 times 120, either way. What did you get? Somebody push button for me? 376, what? 9.9, very good. And then we're going to divide by 360. And you get what? 10.5 what? Meters, very good. Are we okay so far? Okay, so that's all old stuff, really, right? We've done this before and we've worked through it. Remember, this is asking about the crust of the pizza. How big was the crust of this pizza, correct? Really, the new stuff today is instead of worrying about the crust, let's talk about the good stuff, like the toppings, the cheese and the sauce, and the meat that goes on. Isn't that the better part? Okay, so today what we're talking about, and this whole unit has been about area, today we're talking about the area of the sector. In other words, how big is the whole piece of pizza? How much cheese do I need to fill it? How much sauce do I need on my pizza, right? Okay, so that's what we're talking about. The good news is there's only one difference between the formula that we were just using and this one. Somebody remind me, how many degrees are in a circle? Degrees in the sector, that's still measurement of the arc. Okay, the area of the sector, that's what we're looking for. That's still going to be my x. The only difference is this part right here. What's the formula for area of a circle? Pi r squared. Now remember, your brain's going to play tricks on you because up here it's 2 pi r and down here it's pi r squared. They have pi, they have an r, and they both have 2's, right? Remember, when we're talking about area, area is always squared. So that's why this one is pi r squared. So let's work this first problem. We're basically doing the same thing, we just have a different formula right here, correct? Set it up the same exact way. So right down here, I'm finding the area of the shaded sector. So I'm going to set up my formula. I know that 360 is here. This is measure of the arc. Now this formula is pi r squared. And this right here represents the area of the sector, since that's what I'm trying to find. So on this first one, what's my radius? 5. And what's the measure of my arc? 70, because I want this piece right here, right? And then I'm going to cross multiply. So this will be 360x. And what is pi 5 squared times 70? 5,497 point what? 8. Now what? Good, divide by 360. And tell me, what do you get? I can't hear you. What? 15.3 what? Centimeters squared, because we're talking about area. Okay? Again, now we're talking about how much cheese do I need on my pizza, not just the crust. See the difference? Now compare problem number 1 to number 4. Compare problem number 1 to number 4. What do you notice? It's the same problem. They're just asking me for something different. Okay? So now I'm going to give you a second. I want you to do 5 and 6. I'm going to give you a second. I want you to do 5 and 6. Somebody tell me, what do we use for our radius on number 5? 2. Very good. And what was the measure of my arc? 190 again. And when I cross multiply, did you come up with an answer of 6.6 inches squared? Well, look back at number 2. If I'm finding 2 different things, is it true that I can really have the same answer up here as I did down here? And the answer is yes, because 2 times 2 is the same as 2 squared. It's only because the radius was 2. If it's any other number, your numbers won't be the same. But it just happened that squaring 2 and 2 times 2 is the same. Okay? On number 6, what do you use for your radius? 5. Very good. What do you use for your arc? 120. Very good. And what do you get for your final answer when you cross multiply? 26 point what? 0.2 meters squared. Are we good? Okay, we have one more problem, number 7. I'm going to give you just a second to read through it. Okay? I want you to attempt number 7, read through it, try and set it up. It says, oh, that's how I work this problem. What's one of the keywords in this whole thing? Area. Area of what? Area of a sector. That's what tells me, oh, I need to use this formula that we just learned. Everybody good with that? Okay, that's what tells me, that little word right there. It says, oh, I need to use the area of the sector formula. What's my radius? What do you mean? Oh, wait, that's what they're asking me to find, right? Okay, well, what's my arc? 120, because remember the measure of the angle, that would be the measure of angle AOB. So if this angle is 120, wouldn't the arc be 120? Good, so the measure of the arc is 120. And it says that the area of the sector is 432 pi. They just gave you the answer that we've been solving for. Are you with me? So that means instead of x, I'm going to put 432 pi right here. Okay? So when you see this, I have a pi on the top and I have a pi on the bottom. Doesn't that mean they cancel out? Mm-hmm. And then I can just cross multiply, just like we have. So r squared times 120 is just 120 r squared. What's 432 times 360? Is that what you got? Now what? What do I need to do now to solve this? Divide by 120? Absolutely. So now I have r squared is equal to, what does that give me? Good, 1296. Now what? Ah, very good. You take the square root. This is like the last step of a Pythagorean theorem problem, right? So now I know that r is equal to 36. So you see how we took that keyword and we figured out, oh, there's a formula for that. Then we went and plugged in all of our pieces, right? And then we just solved it, just using our algebra skills to work backwards. Any questions?